माहेश्वरी विद्या प्रचारक मंडल इस गौरवशाली परंपरा के विरासत को समाज सुधारक माने पूजना के स्वर्गीय श्री राव बहादुर हनुमंत जी राठी सातारा के स्वर्गीय श्री लक्ष्मी नारायण जी महाराज और कराड़ के स्वर्गीय श्री लाल जी लाहौटी जी इन दुखदर्शी अग्रदूत ने जारी रखा और इसका सार्थक परिणाम था माहेश्वरी विद्या प्रचारक मंडल। जरूरतमंद और सराहनीय माहेश्वरी युवाओं को छात्रवृत्ति, ऋण छात्रवृत्ति, छात्रावास, स्वावलंबन कार्यक्रम, सिविल सर्विसेज गाइडेंस से लेकर महिला सशक्तिकरण और सकारात्मक सामाजिक परिवर्तन लाने की दिशा में माहेश्वरी विद्या प्रचारक मंडल पिछले 95 वर्षों से अपना अमूल्य योगदान दे रहा है। माहेश्वरी समाज के युवाओं तथा युवतियों को शिक्षा एवं उनके उज्जवल भविष्य बनाने के हेतु उनकी सहायता और समाज के सभी वर्गों के युवाओं को जटिलता के राज्य के कोने कोने में इस प्रकार की शिक्षा का अवसर निर्माण करना ये एमवीपीएम का ध्येय है। छात्रवृत्ति स्कॉलरशिप प्रोग्राम के माध्यम से जरूरतमंद और स्थानीय युवाओं को छात्रवृत्ति पुरस्कार की सुविधा उपलब्ध कराई जाती है ताकि वे बिना किसी बाधा के अपनी पढ़ाई कर सके। हर साल ऐसे 50 से 600 छात्र और छात्राओं को लगभग 1.25 से 1.5 करोड़ की राशि छात्रवृत्ति के रूप में एमवीपीएम के द्वारा वितरित की जाती है। एमवीपीएम मानता है कि शिक्षा जीवन की तैयारी नहीं, अपने आप में एक जीवन है। लैपटॉप वितरण एमवीपीएम ने लैपटॉप वितरण की एक नई पहल की है। इस पहल के तहत मई 2022 में 100 लैपटॉप बांटे गए जिसके मुख्य दानदाता श्री मुकुंद भवन ट्रस्ट के ट्रस्टी श्री पुरुषोत्तम जी दोहिया और उनका परिवार था। इस पहल को सफलता मिलने के कारण और छात्रों के माता पिता की बढ़ती मांग के कारण एमवीपीएम ने इस पहल को बड़े पैमाने पर आयोजित करने का फैसला किया। हाल ही में इन्वेस्टमेंट एडवाइजरी के संस्थापक और अध्यक्ष श्री राम कुमार जी राठी ने अन्य 100 लैपटॉप दान किए। इससे प्रेरित होकर कई और दानदाता इस पहल में भाग ले रहे हैं। एमवीपीएम ने लैपटॉप वितरण की एक नई पहल की है। स्वावलंबन ये एमवीपीएम की विशिष्ट अनोखी पहल है जिसका उद्देश्य माहेश्वरी छात्रों और छात्रा युवाओं के जीवन को उन्नत कर बदलना है जो वित्तीय और अन्य कठिनाइयों के कारण शिक्षा लेने में असमर्थ है और शिक्षा से वंचित रह गए हैं। ऐसे हर युवाओं के भविष्य को सवारने की पूरी जिम्मेदारी एमवीपीएम लेता ही है, लेकिन इसके अलावा कौशल आधारित प्रशिक्षण प्रदान करना, भोजन और आवास की सुविधा प्रदान करना और अपने आप को स्वावलंबी बनाने के लिए स्वयं को स्थापित करने में उनकी सहायता करता है। इस विश्वास और धारणा के अनुसार स्वावलंबन शिक्षा माहेश्वरी युवाओं को आर्थिक रोजगार योग्य या व्यवसाय के लिए तैयार करने का प्रयास करती है। सर्विसेज सेवा परीक्षाओं के बारे में माहेश्वरी युवाओं के बीच जागरूकता पैदा करने के विचार से एमवीपीएम पुणे ने वर्ष 2014 में सेवा कार्यक्रम शुरू किया। सिविल सर्विसेज ऑप्शन और करियर के बारे में जागृति लाना और मार्गदर्शन करना इसका प्रमुख उद्देश्य है। इस कार्यक्रम के अंतर्गत जो विद्यार्थी पीएचडी या एमबीएस की परीक्षा देना चाहते हैं, एमवीपीएम उनके लिए कोई सुविधाएं प्रदान करती है। इस कार्यक्रम का लाभ आज तक सैकड़ों माहेश्वरी युवाओं ने प्राप्त किया है और कुछ विद्यार्थी भारत के प्रशासनिक सेवा में माननीय पद पर विराज है। एमवीपीएम सेतु एमवीपीएम शिक्षा और खेल के विषय क्राउड फंडिंग प्लेटफॉर्म है। क्राउड फंडिंग के माध्यम से माहेश्वरी के इच्छुक उम्मीदवारों का तहे दिल से स्वागत करना चाहते हैं। इस प्लेटफॉर्म के जरिए शैक्षिक सपनों और वास्तविकता के बीच के अंतर को मिटाना चाहते हैं। मिशन माहेश्वरी विद्या प्रचारक मंडल की स्थापना के बाद से गत 100 सालों में संगठन ने एमवीपीएम की नींव रखने वाले 3 अग्रदूतों के दृष्टिकोण को पूरा करने के लिए अपने सभी प्रयासों में रहने वाले माहेश्वरी छात्र और छात्रा युवाओं को कौशल आधारित प्रशिक्षण और शिक्षा देकर उन्हें आत्मनिर्भर बनाने की एक समृद्ध पहल माहेश्वरी विद्या प्रचारक मंडल। Am I audible? Can you hear me? All right. Super. And I'm assuming you guys can take the presentation as well. All right. This is just to quickly give you a glimpse of, you heard about what MVPM is all about. I'm now giving you a glimpse of the connector. I'm just going to give you a quick background about what MVPM International Connect is all about. Just give us a moment, a bit of a technical thing that we are trying to get resolved here. Side by side. Okay. All right. Thank you. So, MVPM International Connect is like communication. We started the International Connect about 2 years back, so it's kind of 2 years old. It was approved by the trustee board of MVPM with the mandate that we should get MVPM reach extended beyond extended beyond the boundaries of Pune and Maharashtra. And the intent, of course, MVPM being an not-for-profit organization, we are looking at this as an ability for us to also reach out to international community and garner more support for us to deliver a better value. So far, we have had about 25 events that we have done under the International Connect program. And this continues to be in a series of a 6-part student-focused event that we are running. Next slide. The whole purpose, like I said, is to get the reach of MVPM and its institutional movement, reach out to the international community. That is the whole purpose. The mission that we come through with is building a very strong knowledge sharing self-help groups for migrant students, parents, businesses, professionals, relocated personnel, and of course international travelers as well. So if you really look at it, all the facets of international transactions, if I might use that, from the perspective of students, is getting covered here. Next slide for me. How do we propose to do that? This is basically the process. Basically, we are looking at creating global communities and connections that these communities will foster. The purpose would be achieved through running multiple programs, this being one of them, and these kind of regular activities. We have about 1 or 2 programs every month across all of these 6 different verticals, which I'll talk to you about very quickly. And the last element that we are now working on very aggressively is forging strategic partnerships with various organizations that and external bodies, so that we can look at things like student exchange programs, conversations with trade councils or embassies of various countries, so that the entire community can benefit from all the various activities, whether trade, career, or education itself. Next. I was talking to you about the 6 different perspectives that we look at the international connect from. The common objectives basically remain sharing of knowledge, sharing of opportunities, and mind you, sharing of problems, because this is a group that can also bring in solutions. So when you share problems, there are people who are knowledgeable in these groups and they will bring in solutions because they may have gone through those same situations for you earlier. The philosophy is therefore that you learn as a community together. 6 different groups. First one focused on students, where the idea is to talk about universities, courses, internships, scholarships, exchange programs, and your ability to achieve all of these. Second group, which is focused for professionals. These our point of view of professionals here is obviously career. They could be in India and abroad, and primarily focusing on trying to build entrepreneurship as a career opportunity. Next is for business personnel. This is to enable import-export opportunities and investment opportunities. Mind you, MVPM does not have a mandate to focus on creating international trade. This is just a group which will enable people to have transactions amongst themselves. MVPM does not directly get involved in any of these. The only reason MVPM supports these is two perspectives. One, to get people to understand that MVPM exists and the international connect is fostering that. And second, that career opportunities through these can be enabled. The next group is about parents of students. We have often noticed that parents have a lot of anxiety when students are traveling abroad and they are not sure what needs to be done, what support needs to be given. All of that can be discussed here, including long distance parenting and migration. Relocated personnel is looking at the other way around. Given what Trump is doing right now, we might have this group becoming very active all of a sudden, where a lot of people from US may want to come back to India. And so this is a group that caters to opportunities for people who are outside India in careers and are looking at coming back to India. And finally, of course, the travelers, maybe for short or long durations. Right. Next one. Yeah, this is basically about the same groups. I think a bit of a repetition here, but we could skip this. Let's go to the next one. The whole purpose, like I said, is expanding the global networks, and I've talked to you about this a couple of times. So again, please look at all of these forums with your knowledge or with your questions or your connections, and help us grow and help us reach out to more and more people. Next. This is me. I am the chairman of MVPM International Connect and have been associated with MVPM itself for more than 10 years now. That is a lot about my personal career. You can look me up on LinkedIn. Next. We have two speakers from the community today. First one being Suruchi Rathi, and I'm inviting her right away on the dais so that she can take this program forward to talk about our session today, which is Dreams to Destination, part 3. And Suruchi, over to you. Please join me here.
Just to kind of go back on what we did in the previous two sessions, I would like to invite Ms. Mohammed Sarah, who's for the recap a little bit of what we have done. We worked together with as partners of Scholars and Education, and Google is an internationally certified counselor. And we've been taking care of this.
Has it got switched off? Maybe. Yeah, okay.
So yeah, over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, good evening, everyone. First of all, thank you so much for this opportunity to host this session on behalf of MVPM. And I first of all would like to thank all the committee members. Thank you, Suruchi ma'am, for giving us this platform. Okay, so my name is Mukul Sarang, and I'm currently certified educator and a counselor. With students for over 10 years now in their study abroad dreams. Me and Suruchi ma'am, we work hand in hand together, helping students with almost everything, starting from your training for IELTS, TOEFL, PTE, GRE, GMAT, German language, Japanese language, French language. We help you with all these training. We host counseling sessions, and all these counseling sessions are personalized counseling sessions, one-on-one with students and parents. So that we can identify the career needs, we can identify what you're lacking, how we can work on it, and how we can help you reach where you want to be. We deal with all countries, US, UK, Canada, Australia, Germany. We also do public universities where almost students end up paying tuition. Not always, but at times, depending upon your profile and the criteria. So we can have the slides that we can have. So we have already done two sessions, for under MVPM and stuff. Where we, I'm just going to give you a recap of what we did. So, I think it works on touch, right?
This one works on access.
Oh, yes, I can navigate from here.
Yeah, you should be able to.
Full screen.
Yes.
How do you make a full screen?
Yeah, yes, you just get there. Just check if you have one tap there. Yeah, there you go.
So, both Ms. Suchirati and myself, we represent the shade. So, you don't need to fear us. We are very responsible. And the shade stands for the Scholars Pioneer Education Group.
Just one moment, the screen shares.
Yes, in the previous conversation, you want me to hold on?
No, just one moment. For the sharing. All right. Yeah,
Okay. So in the previous sessions, we discussed how we can simplify the processes for you. We can simplify the process towards any country, any program, any university. So how to simplify this? By explaining what needs to be done, what's the entry criteria, and working on your solutions. So I already explained about the art services. We provide all services starting from the international training, to counseling, to entire admission process, followed by loans, visas, even hospitals. So we do almost everything. Okay, so that's our profile. With Ruchi Rani, she's the director with over 10 years of experience. Ma'am has been working with British Council, Sebastian International University, International School of Business and Media. And she has also been endorsed by ATS. Ma'am was also endorsed by Language Cert. That certification has been recently achieved this year itself. So I think that's not a big deal. And myself, I'm certified by the British Council, Education District of the USA, University of Patna, for traveling leadership, big data and economics and finance, and as well as participation. And I'm also certified by Language Cert. Okay, so profile building, we can take it as a different topic later on. Because this we haven't taken up the MVPM yet, but we are not going to take this up in this particular section, because this particular section is focusing on visa. I can see reach out to.
Yeah, it's like what slide number do you want us to get?
I think 30.
40.
Sorry, no, not 40. I think 25. 25. Did you go to 25? Okay, 20.
Yeah, we can kind of jump into
Okay,
it.
so as I mentioned, we do trainings for IELTS local English. So that's the IELTS score of one of our students, 8.5 hours. And we also try the student itself. She's from Pune. She's the daughter of one of the educators itself, Mr. Banu. She's the Banu's daughter. Her name is Riya Banu. This is the audio thing. Okay. So these are some of our, sports. We already showcased in the previous session. So PTE, Duolingo, these are English assessments. Then this language assessment, German language, foreign language. GRE is an aptitude test. GMAT is another aptitude test. So GRE and GMAT are for students who are going for master's program. That is for undergrad. Students are going for bachelor's. We help you with your documentation. Documentations will also be explained, by Suji ma'am is taking the visa slides. Okay, we can directly go to visa slides. Now I would like to invite Mr. Chirati to take over the visa session, and ma'am will be explaining about all the different categories of visas that students need to apply for different countries. So welcome to you.
We can try, but if it is not audible, then it will not help.
general visa process. Now, typically, these are the common documents that you need to organize for any visa application. They vary from country to country, but yeah, in general, this is what you require. A final letter of acceptance from the university that you have chosen to take your admission in. Your fee payment receipts to that university. Funds in your bank accounts. Now, these funds have to be equivalent to not just the tuition fees, but also the cost of living expenses. Okay, also additionally requires bank documents like your balance of along with your bank statements. Medical reports may also be asked by some of the countries, but that's option. We can move to next. So these are a couple of visa success stories from various countries where our students have gone. So there are students who've gone to Canada, Germany, UK, US, Ireland, and others. I would like to ask you, what's your name, please?
Kavish. Kavish.
Kavish. You decided what country you wish to go to and the purpose of you attending this session with us today.
Exactly finalized.
Okay, but what is it that you plan to do? You have finalized the course for yourself, what are you currently pursuing, if I may ask?
Currently, I am finally computer. I want to pursue masters in computer for electricity.
But you're currently not sure about what country you wish to do.
Yeah.
So, coming to the visa process for USA, the most sought after country. So, and if you also come from the computer engineering background, usually US is the first choice. So, let's talk about the USA F1 visa process. Now, F1 visa comes from full-term academic visa that you get as a student. You have to be enrolled in one of the student and exchange visitor program of colleges or schools. This visa allows you to work part-time while you're studying. And it also gives you OPT and CPT opportunities. So OPT means, optional practical training. You may choose to work or may not. It's absolutely up to you if you wish to. And there is something called curricular practical training, where it is part of your course where you will have to mandatorily work a couple of hours. So this particular visa allows you both the options. Just to reiterate, now, first of all, once you get your offer letter from the university, it's a document called I-20, which gets issued, on the basis of which you start your visa process. I-20 being the first document, you would need to provide a proof of sufficient financial resources account. One of the tests of English language proficiency will be required. It could be IELTS, TOEFL, PT, or Duolingo. And of course, there should be an intention to return back to home country. That would be very, very important when it comes to the US visa maintenance. So a typical application timeline looks like this. You secure your offer letter, you receive the identity from the college, then you start the application process by paying the necessary fees, one to fee, which is $50. You go to the US visa and immigration website, fill up a form called DS-160, pay a visa application fee, schedule a visa appointment, which has two parts. One would be doing the biometrics at the authorized center, which is not the consulate, and the second would be an in-person interview at the embassy or the consulate. Yes. Documents we've already more or less spoken about, but yes, you have to have valid passport, your DS-160 calculation date, the visa appointment letter, your fee receipt, and the I-20, which is issued by the university. Some of the other supporting documents which are not surely mentioned as mandatory, but they can be carried with you. So they help you at the time of the interview in case the officer chooses to ask you about something which is other than what's already listed. So these would be your financial documents and your sponsor documents in case you avail of a loan, the loan letter. And in case you're somebody who comes to work experience, your work experience with the following resume. Study your visuals in terms of academic transcripts. The visa interview in India happens in 5 places, which is Delhi, Mumbai, Hyderabad, Chennai, and Kolkata. Typically, an interview lasts about 5 minutes. 5 minutes is when you're ready to be grilled, otherwise, it's only 2 minutes. And the officer would like to check your genuineness as a student, study, and obviously come back on your financial documents and a clear-cut study plan and return intent. Some of the common interview questions are like, why did you choose this particular university or a course? How will you fund your education? Who's going to sponsor it? What are your future plans after graduation? And do you have any relatives in the US or not? Typically, your questions revolve around this to be a little bit led. Post approval, you will receive your passport with an F1 visa stamp. You can book your travel max 30 days, up to 30 days before the program starts. Carry your passport and the other documents alongside. At the port of entry, which is wherever in the US you step down, the officer may ask for a little about the program and the finance manual. Quick checklist for the US F1 visa would be your admission letter with the I-20, your DS-160 completed, your MRP fee receipt, and interview stock which is booked, and the documents ready. Place the interview. I'll ask Google to come over and take up the UK visa process.
Right, so students who are planning to go to the UK, there are different visas, and we are usually we talk about long-term visas. So there are short-term visas up to 6 to 12 months, visa for candidates. There are student visa and student visa for full-time degree programs. And there is a child student visa, not very common for Indian students. I think we went to the slides also because even I touched it. Okay. So eligibility requirements. You need an unconditional letter and a CAS, which is required from the UK university. Proof of sufficient funds need to be provided. Funds maybe from your bank, maybe from your room. The funds should be covering your living expenses for 1 year as well as the tuition. Ideally, how we process is we usually ask the students and parents to pay the entire tuition fee, because that's how more legitimate at the time of visa. So that's our, it's not mandatory, but we recommend that. Proof of English language proficiency test, valid passport. Next. Okay, now English test may be waived off in certain conditions depending upon your university. Okay, so it's not always mandatory, but recommended.
So only for the UK where they would waive off.
Yes. So even in US, in certain cases it's waived off, but not always. Okay. In UK, they work on the basis of MOI, which is medium of instruction. You get a medium of instruction from your college or university, wherein it's stated that all your education has happened in English language. Okay. And of course, it should also complement with your English score that you put in well. You prepare your financial and academic documents. Of course, we provide samples for each and every document that you need to prepare. We have good. We need to apply online at the UK website. UK has recently had this transition from a paper visa from an e-visa. So this foreign take, our students have gone on an e-visa, which is of course backed by security codes. So you have to pay the application fee. INC surcharge, that's your health insurance, 500 requirement, and credibility interview is also not always there. At times it's there. Usually the universities, they are the ones who conduct the credibility interview. I will prepare you for credibility interview first. Okay, documents again, more or less for all countries, more or less documents will remain the same. your passport, proof of funds. In this, I mentioned cash letter in my initial slide. So cash letter is required. English language tests, academic transcripts and certificates. Okay, the medical report varies from country to country. For UK, you need to get a TB. TB test is required. Right? Okay, so visa interview it completely depends. It's majority of the time it may not be conducted. Okay? But yes, university has to go the right to conduct interview to check if you're a genuine student or not. And the statement of purpose that you guys write, it's very important that it should complement to what you say in the interview. Common questions: why you choose this course? Why the university? What are your future goals? How are you going to fund your education? All of that. And we help you in answering these questions confidently because we make you prepare for rigorously on a very consistent basis. That you are very confident at the time of interview. Processing times for UK is different because there are different categories of payments that UK embassy will take. There is a priority visa, super priority visa, and there is normal visa. But of course, the price varies. The higher you pay, the shorter the time span. Priority service as I mentioned, it's also available. Next. Okay, post visa benefits, of course, once you get your visa, you're allowed to work 20 hours per week. You're eligible for 2 years, but now this time is being shortened to 1.5 years after you graduate, 18 months. Okay. You can bring dependents in case you are going for a research program. Okay, so and that also has different categories. So initially, what used to happen was even someone who's going for a master's program was allowed. Dependents were allowed. Now it is only for research programs. They have made it a rule that research programs, instead of going for research program, they can take a dependent along with your wife or your spouse. Yes, in case of UP, we have 2 years eligibility. It used to be, now it's 18 months. It used to be 2 years, now it's 18 months. What about the masters? 18 months. Someone is going for masters. 18 months. He can work after the masters, he can work for up to 1.5 years. 1.5. Yes.
Or any specific country that anybody should.
Or so any specific questions, UK or US or any specific country questions you have, you may please ask us so that we can respond immediately.
Or we can focus on that country right now, otherwise
Absolutely.
we will the second part of our session.
Because I think we have prioritized 4 to 5 countries: Australia, UK, US, Germany, Ireland.
Anything that you have on mind? Is good for you right now?
Yeah.
Then we'll probably switch to Raghav and then time permits we come back.
Oh, absolutely. Perfect. Right. Yeah. All right. So thank you so much. I would like to invite Rahul. So Rahul will be talking about post-landing services. Welcome, Rahul.
Myself, Ramesh Mani. So I've got 2 startups. One is in logistics. I've been working in this field of education abroad for quite a few years now. I've also co-founded a company called Academic Expert Private Limited. Basically, we offer post-landing services to students. Once they reach, whatever destination they plan or they intend to go for higher education. So we began with UK, and now we have a presence in Germany, Singapore, and Mauritius. So basically, we act as a bridge that the students settle, in the initial phase of the transition. The biggest challenge what I've seen while I was supporting one of the UK universities is not, we have people like Shane and confidence spread across, many countries, obviously India and many other countries. But the actual problem lies after reaching. where students are so used to sort of getting services from the partners, they feel sort of left out. They need a mentor, someone to help them and take things forward from them. This is about us, about me, about the company. Let's quickly see the presentation that has been created. So value add, I'm sure it will be a value add for all the students who wish to pursue their higher education abroad. I've kept it very generalized, but from student perspective, these things are important. So, maybe you can consider as a detailed departure. We have the first practice. Something important to remember. So, it is just the step what Mukul said. So, we come to the picture post arrival or, once you depart. Something to remember because, a lot of students, this is the month where they usually start coming to UK or in Germany or in US countries, wherever they can go. So you have to remember one thing that there's a deadline for every university, which is the date of enrollment. So you make sure that you are reaching prior to the date of enrollment. You enroll and you reach prior to that date to avoid any sort of confusion and inconvenience. In case there's a delay for whatever reason, maybe due to health or maybe due to visa, you're supposed to communicate that to the university. Please put that in writing, have that extension in place, and so that when you're landing or when you're reaching, things are normal and not into any sort of problem. So make sure that these things are sorted before you leave. And if you're well in time, make sure you're attending the enrollment once you enroll. Make sure you're attending the festivals and the kickstart event, which is for the students, where university will ensure that all things are told to you about the course, about your life, about everything in the initial days of your moving in. Document checklist. So I would say that don't keep all documents in one place. One in your side bag. These are the important documents. The original form are to be kept with you. A valid passport, obviously, a student visa along with it. CAT document, unconditional letters have been received from the university. Attach certificate if at all your course required. Maybe if someone is going for mechanical engineering, you require passport size photographs, evidence of funding, whatever documents you submitted to the visa officers or the consulate for your visa, same documents would be part, in your file. Along with health certificates, vaccinations, X-rays, depending upon the country you're going to, those list of medical documents or health certificates as per that country. Medicines with prescription letter. I'm going to talk about this in my upcoming slide, which is completely important. And insurance, obviously, since you're going there, or you would have to buy overseas medical for whatever division you are in, just to have to insure in case of any injuries. National driving license. So all these documents have to be kept with you in your side. And they might ask you, I'm not saying they will, but they might ask you, the visa application office might ask for these documents just in case, and you can easily show them when you ask. Next slide, please. Can you move luggage guidelines? So make sure when you're booking your travel tickets, lot of offers are being given for students by a lot of airlines. So whichever airlines gives you the maximum allowance, please go for it. Please check the best also simultaneously. But whatever you think is the best, go for it. Make sure you are within that permissible limit of carrying luggage. Do not carry much of winter wear, one because if you go to US or UK, for instance. Winter wear is more useful because they are built as per their weather and condition types. Maybe a pair or two overcoat or sweaters, but not more than that because that country already has it. You are better off, when you go there and buy. Also, I've seen a lot of students carry Indian spices. They are, I don't know what reason, but these refrain from carrying those items. It's not an Indian country, you're going to where you will not find these Indian, things. But you've got Indian markets almost everywhere, wherever you go. So maybe you may, face a problem in the initial days, which we usually take care of. But yeah, you refrain from carrying all these things in quantity. Well, maybe comfortable a pair or two again. Likewise, if it's no time there, you would require boots. So you are better off again buying in that particular country and not carrying a lot of pair of footwear from India. Next slide. So every country, you're going there are certain requirements that you're supposed to do. If you're talking about UK, likewise, Google mentioned you need to have a GE or I think X-ray exam and a medical certificate through, I think, certified center. So that's supposed to be kept handy. So whichever country you're going, make sure you know what documents are required. Going to Mauritius, there are again list of tests that needs to be done. You need to provide those certificates prior to your arrival on the visa. Make sure whichever country you are well aware of that. If someone is prescribed medicine or maybe is on a regular dosage of medicine, please carry those medicines not in quantity but up to 3 months with prescription. Doctor's prescription is mandatory because you cannot carry more of drugs with you in quantity. But if you have a prescription, doctor's prescription, you can carry those medicines in those particular quantity. When you reach that particular country, please seek assistance. If you're in the UK, maybe NHS, you'll have to consult your nearest GP. Your local GP will be assigned to depending upon the area you stay in. And then you will have to meet general practitioner, counsel with him. Whatever medicine they prescribe, then you will be moved to those sort of medicines once you are sort of settled in. Also, if you are on a controlled drug, which again, please make sure that you are looking at category of drugs or medicines that you're carrying. That particular medicine is a controlled list of category. So again, that medicine would come on the prescription letter when prescribed by the doctor in original forms that you can sometimes with a telephone number. So just so that you don't, fall into any sort of trap or any inconvenience. Next slide. So please be calm and composed. You don't have to be nervous. You don't have to be worried. It's all, you have the legit documents. The immigration officers are not there to grill you or ask you any particular questions. It's their duty, and I would say that whenever I have seen a lot of students, I keep traveling very often to countries, and I see a lot of students, little nervous when they're standing in that basically immigration line. You don't have to be nervous. It's their duty. They would ask certain questions, but you are the right student. You have all set of documents with you. You are a registered. So whatever question they ask, just with a smile, you read that to the officer. And they might ask you questions that why this university or wherever state you have the accommodation, maybe proof or the university letter, offer letter, proof of funds, who's funded your education. So whatever they ask, you have the documents ready and you are the right student. So don't be afraid or don't be nervous in answering those questions. But yeah, at any point of time you are stuck somewhere, maybe for the luggage or maybe you need direction. Please seek advice from the staff who's available at the airport. Next slide. Upon arrival, I'm sure you will do that. You do get Wi-Fi, whichever country you land at the airport, free for a few minutes. So at least you can, speak to your family, confirm your arrival. Once you reach your destination, you can always keep in touch with the next slide. Travel from airport, this is something very important. A lot of times, students who are going to a particular city may not have a direct flight from where you're flying. Let's say you're flying to maybe Durham, where I didn't have an airport at Durham. either I land at Manchester or I land Newcastle or London and then I take a bus or train to Durham. So my piece of advice to all of you would be take a morning flight which drops you, which lands you at the airport in the morning time. In case if you have to take further travel to whichever city that you're going to study in during the daytime. A lot of European countries, what I've seen, evening hours, if you're going to be at the student accommodation or off campus, wherever you live, before the sunset, there is no sort of inconvenience in terms of public transport or maybe lack of personal at destination wherever you're going. And to avoid these inconveniences, it's always better to reach in the daytime, you're better off. So you land in the morning, you take a bus, train, and reach before the sunset. That particular city, not as a something to be scared of, but should not be inconvenient to you. Next slide, please. Accommodation. Basically, there are two types of accommodation that are available. It is on campus. Campus, maybe if you've selected live on campus at the university accommodation provided, make sure that you're not giving them a surprise by just landing in front of them. You have booked it well in place with the accommodation receipts and proof of accommodation confirmation letter. Make sure it's daytime because evening hours you usually don't have one reception to welcome you. And if it's off-campus, any of the partners, make sure that you are informing them your time and date of arrival so that there's someone who at least acknowledge your presence, you open the keys of either the room, apartment, or the house that you selected to stay. Next slide, please. Opening a bank account, so there are traditionally, you can go with traditional banks that are there in that particular country. Obviously, that's not the immediate step because you would require, as a student, you would require a bank letter from that university confirming that you are a full-time student. I have seen ICICI and SBI banks sort of help you open an account in India, which also services you for the UK. But please have this checked respectively from these banks, whichever country you're going, so that it's not inconvenient. And online banks like Bonzo and all, you open digitally and you don't really have to provide any physical documents. Next slide. These are responsibilities. See, you are going on a student visa, so there are responsibilities for your sponsorship, right? Sponsorship means when you see a cash there, a confirmation of a unique number which you use as a document for filing your maybe UK student visas. When you got a visa, there are certain responsibilities. Some of the responsibilities listed below because you're on a student visa, you're supposed to adhere to the attendance guidelines, for that particular university. Inform the international compliance team in case if your immigration status changes. Copy of your passport, visa documents. If the university has asked or requested at any point of time, you will have to share with them. Pay your tuition fees on time. Likewise, Google said it's always better to pay tuition fees in advance to avoid any complications. But if you select to pay in installments, make sure you're paying them well in time. Finally, follow work conditions. I'm going to talk about this in my maybe upcoming slide. Next slide. Working part-time roles. This is, I'm sure, each country gives you the permission to work, on part-time basis. And as an international student, I would recommend you to work, experience that culture, that gives you work experience. So hands-on to their culture and the way they work. But be mindful about the regulations because there are certain things that comes along with work. So permissible hours that you're allowed to work on that particular category. So if it's UK, maybe 20 hours a week during your term time and 40 hours during your vacation time. Germany, Mauritius, wherever you go, right? So please be mindful about the number of hours that you can work on. Do not accept full-time roles at any point of time, even if you don't have, maybe lectures at the university or maybe curriculum. But at no point of time, you can work on full-time basis, but you cannot accept full-time roles in the entire course of your study. During your vacation time, definitely you can work for full-time, on full-time basis, but not accept full-time roles. Any point of time, you should not exceed the permissible working hours. Because we've had cases in the UK where my solicitor is a counsel to one of the students, where he had exceeded number of hours month on month. So if there's a month, maybe you have a leverage to say, I should, little space. But when he has done it month on month, it's impossible. It's impossible. That's a valid case. And that student now will not be able to apply for the graduate immigration route, which is a red flag. Should definitely not also not accept wages in cash. It's not appreciated when you should not also you can register a company. Mind you can register a company as a student, but you cannot do any activities. I think that maybe I'm going there for MBA and I have some business plan in mind. I can register a company in UK. I would have that within 2 days for sure, the certification. But make sure that if I'm doing that, I will not do any trading activities. Just the license in place locally, but not doing any trading activities. And finally, pay any sort of fees, charges, money to dodgy people or get into trap where they promise you jobs, even full-time, whatever it is. Please don't get into that trap. Try and get jobs on your merit or through a legit source that you come up
with. We invest in stocks in UK. These are, let's say, I have some saving. I want to invest in stocks.
Right. You would have to have a demat account for that.
Yeah, but
It's enough. But when you open a bank account, you will have to take that access from that particular bank. A lot of times, while I was at the university also gave me an option of given me some credits, and I could use those credits in my trading platform.
so it's allowed.
It's allowed. If not, you can always do it in India.
So India,
Someone
someone there and you want to there, it's not.
once of it because student is going there. I'm not sure if he's well acquainted with London Stock Exchange or the stock prices or whatever. But you will have to have this not recommended on immediate basis, but maybe long term if he knows the economy well, you want to invest so that he or she's not burning hands because any.
Two points to add in that statement. One is be mindful of the regulations of FEMA. There are conditions related to LRS. And second, there are tax implications, or depending on which country you are in. We're talking about UK, so there is a double taxation points, but significant implications on tax on both sides, depending on how you are filing on your application, right? So practically it may be possible, but technically just be mindful about what you're doing. Right?
That's why it's not on immediate basis, but to understand that well. I'm sure everyone travels, but I travel extensively and I see a lot of things happening. Even if it's any European country, you have to be very cautious and mindful. You are on the road, in the mall, in the tube, on the train station, bus station. There are certain things happening. I'm sure you would also come across on Instagram. A lot of people guys snatching phones. Right, that's too much in the UK now. Please be mindful. You have to be careful. Wherever you're traveling, make sure you know that area. Please not really, but at least some sort of acquaintance. If it's night, you've got to be a little careful in shady or dodgy areas that you're going to. Keep police minutes on file or emergency numbers well on your phone and you're aware of those numbers in that particular country. But at any point of time, any country you go, I feel one has to be really careful nowadays. Be mindful of your atmosphere or your surrounding, wherever you are in. I think that's the last slide of the presentation in terms of information that I'm sharing. Next slide, please. These are the services that we offer post-landing support. So we will pick up and drop from the city to city. SIM card support, career profile building site for that particular country. And solicitors making. So for solicitors in case about UK, one of the costliest service in the UK is solicitor. Solicitor is basically immigration lawyer. Their fee is super expensive. Someone who want to counsel or seek advice. We also help student in finding accommodation. On campus is usually done, absolutely student's choice wherever he or she would want to stay. But yeah, if someone would want to explore options off campus, we want to support. We also do 7 courses, summer and winter school for students. Yeah, we work with a lot of Indian universities, and we are doing that as global immersion program with a lot of universities for a lot of countries. This is about cabinet. Yeah, next slide, please. We also, and I'm available on LinkedIn, also certain other social media platforms. But yeah, any point of time, any service, any country, you're more than happy to support. If you are stranded, if you feel you're left out, if you need any support, please feel free to reach out. Any point of time, we will support you and help you get you out of that situation. But yes, safe travel. Wishing you all the very best for your future endeavors. Any questions from anyone? We will take it up.
Any question you have here? No. Any question online? Just check once.
Thank you so much, MVPM, for giving this opportunity.
So, this is probably for local as well as for you. Can I apply as a student?
How old are you?
I'm 52.
No, I mean, the answer is yes and no, but there are chances that you will get rejected.
Majority of the rejections and certainly also have, they look into. Yeah, because you invested time into business when you career or when you job. Or you see just you sport experience. But it exceeds 10 years of school, 10 years of universities, not really that. But obviously, if you have something in mind, there are certain programs in universities where they do accept people with rich experience. You will see a cohort of people not your age, but particularly of that age where you have CFOs and CEOs and maybe
And what about history?
but if you come from that background, you want to pursue. Someone has done commerce, someone say that would want to get into PhD particular technology science, which I think is not people at the university or people, who also understand are trying finding ways to get into that country. One of the easiest is learning or studying. They would see that when it's studying and they would always make sure it's not something.
All right. So this was super, I think, great new perspective that we've learned today. I'm sure that will be helpful for people as we continue to go through this. Like I said, this was the 3rd session for our dreams to destination. We probably have a refresher in between, maybe as an online process to look at the first 3 again, and then come back soon with the 4th session talking about what next after you land. Yeah. All right. That's about it. Thank you so much for everybody who joined online and for being here with us. All right. Bye.
Thank you.
All right.